Drone technology has made a huge leap forward in the last 20 years and started to develop rapidly. Let's go back to the years when technology was less advanced and examine the first drone, the bomber balloon. This bombing balloon was first used by the Austrian Empire in 1849. The bombs in the balloon were 24 to 30 kilograms each with a time fuse. These balloons could not go in the direction they wanted because of the wind, and they could not hit the target they wanted, so they were not very useful. This aircraft was the first winged unmanned aerial vehicle. It was built in 1916 by the British and operated by radio signals. The Hewitt-Sperry automatic airplane. A project carried out during World War I. Its aim was to carry a bomb to its target and detonate it, also called aerial torpedo and flying bomb. Kettering Bug cruise missile was an experimental, unmanned aerial torpedo, a forerunner of today's cruise missiles. Traveling at 50 miles per hour, it could hit ground targets up to 75 miles from the launch point. Ray Larynx. Built by the British, it was used as a guided anti-ship weapon. It was faster than modern fighters. It could travel up to 200 miles per hour. The Queen Bee was first flown manned at Hatfield in 1935 and remotely controlled and flown again later that year. 412 were built between 1935 and 1943. Airspeed Queen Wasp. Only 7 were built during WW2 and never went into mass production. There are 2 prototypes of this aircraft. One was to be used for the Royal Air Navy and the other for the Royal Navy. McDonnell TD-2D Katydid entered service in 1942 in the United States and used until the late 1940s. This target aircraft was pulse jet powered. The V-1 flying bomb, developed by Nazi Germany and known as the weapon of revenge. It was used for terrorist bombing in London. Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress, a 4-engine American bomber. Fast and high-flying at the time, it dropped more bombs than any other aircraft in World War II. Exactly 2731 were built. It was also used as a transport, anti-submarine aircraft, drone controller, and search and rescue aircraft. Ryan Firebee. This drone was developed around 1951 as a target drone. It was one of the first jet-powered drones and remains one of the most widely used target drones ever made. Gaff Jindavik is an Australian-made target drone controlled by radio. The name comes from the Australian Aboriginal word meaning hunted. MQM-57 Falconer. This drone was the U.S. Army's first unmanned reconnaissance aircraft. It was developed from the U.S. Air Force's OQ-19 target drone in the mid-1950s. Northrop AQM-35. This drone was a supersonic target drone developed by the Northrop Corporation. It made its first flight in 1956 and was retired in 1960. Ryan Model 147. A jet-powered unmanned aerial vehicle developed by the United States from the Ryan Firebee target drone series. It made its first flight in 1962 and flew many missions. Leading Systems Amber. This drone began to be built in 1984 and made its first flight in 1986. Amber's existence was not made public until 1988, and in June of that year it managed to last for more than 38 hours, a new record at the time. Quds Mohajir. It is an Iranian single-engine tactical unmanned aerial vehicle built in 4 main variants, built in the 1980s. It is among Iran's most mature and well-known UAVs. Its main purpose is intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. Common KMAX. The UAV version was used in wars. Its mission was to deliver supplies to battlefields. It is optimized for external cargo loading operations and can carry payloads of over 2,700 kilos. MQ-1 Predator. Initially planned to be used only for observation and advanced reconnaissance, but later modified with new cameras and missiles. QF-4 Aerial Target. It is a reusable, full-scale, remotely controlled aerial target developed from the F-4 Phantom. The QF-4 flies only in certain surface airspace where unmanned flight is permitted. It carries explosives to self-destruct if it accidentally becomes uncontrollable. MQ-8, Fire Scout. This helicopter is an unmanned autonomous helicopter. It can perform many missions, including Fire Scout, reconnaissance, airborne fire support, and precision targeting support in land, air, and naval forces. It made its first flight in 2000 and retired in 2022. Boeing X-45 Unmanned Combat Air Vehicle is a concept demonstrator for a next-generation, fully autonomous military aircraft. It made its first flight in 2002, and only 2 units were produced. Dark Sword. It is China's secret unmanned combat aircraft. It's estimated to have similar operational capabilities to the 5th-generation fighter jet. UCAV can outperform Western manned fighters with rotational speeds of over 9 Gr. Bayraktar TB2. This UAV, which entered service in 2014, has broken records that will go down in history. It was able to hit the targets with 100% accuracy in the firing tests conducted with the Mini Smart ammunition. Laser-guided rockets and missile-loaded. Fully loaded, it flew for 24 hours and 34 minutes, covering 40 kilometers at an altitude of 5,500 meters feet. In all the wars it has entered, it has changed the course of the war. STM Kargu. Kargu is an unmanned aerial combat vehicle produced by Turkey. It is a kamikaze drone that can be used both autonomously and manually. The fact that it can be carried by a single personnel provides great convenience. Ingenuity Helicopter. It is currently operating fully autonomously on Mars. It is part of NASA's Mars 2020 mission. The helicopter was deployed to the surface on April 3, 2021, and can be powered by solar energy. Bayraktar ikinci. Developed by Turkey, this UAV made its first flight in 2019. Since it is capable of air-to-air combat, it is also called an attack unmanned aerial vehicle. Ikinci is equipped with electronic support and countermeasure systems, dual satellite communication systems, air-to-air radar, and collision avoidance radar. MQ-28 Ghost Bat. This drone is designed as a force multiplier aircraft that can fly alongside crewed aircraft. Using artificial intelligence, it can independently perform autonomous missions alongside crewed aircraft. In 2021, it made its first flight and is planned to enter service in 2024-2025. Martin SR-72. This test vehicle is expected to be able to fly by 2025, is an American hypersonic UAV concept for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. In 2018, Lockheed Martin said this UAV would be capable of firing supersonic missiles. Eurodrone. Eurodrone is a joint project of Germany, France, Italy, and Spain. It is expected to make its first flight in mid-2027 and is said to be able to stay aloft for 48 hours. Its intended missions are long-term intelligence, surveillance, and ground support for precision-guided weapons. USV technology continues to develop in the fastest way. Not only in these, but everything in the world has made an attack in recent years and has come to very good places.